I want to start as broad as I possibly can, which is, it seems like a lot of people in the West are unhappy, and it's measurable. Suicide rates are at record highs, and birth rates are at record lows.
Yep.
And those are not signs of confidence in the future. Those are signs of despair. Why are people unhappy?
Well, they've lost a sense of God. I mean, God is the supreme good. And when you lose that sense of God and you collapse back in on yourself, that's St. Augustine defines sin as curvatus in se. I'm caved in around myself. When you do that, you are by definition unhappy. When you lose a sense of objective value grounded in the supreme value of God, almost, again, by definition, you become unhappy.
What does it mean to cave in on yourself?
It means that you've lost a sense of connection to the values that should be calling you out of yourself in an act of love, and you've now come to reverence your own freedom, your own autonomy. So what gives my life meaning is the fact that I've chosen something. I have determined my life. If the Bible has one message, it's that when you live your life that way, you get lost. When you deify your own psyche, your own ego, you get lost. The joy of life comes from forgetting in this great ecstatic act. You forget about yourself and you lose yourself in some great value. Now, that could be sports, that could be politics, whatever it is. But then the supreme value in which all the other ones participate, we call God. God is the highest good, the summum bonum. That's why you love the Lord your God. That's the first commandment, right? But when the culture's lost that, which ours is in danger of, you by definition become unhappy. You get caved in around yourself. And then you fuss around in this kind of addictive way. That's how I would diagnose the thing spiritually.
When you are in love with the idea of choices, I thought the whole point of the West was choices.
Well, but you have to know what your choice is for. When you deify choice itself, right? When you say autonomy, that's my God. No, choice is for some good, and the idea is to order freedom. Right? Freedom is not an end in itself. Freedom is ordered towards some good. When it's disordered, it tends to collapse in upon itself. That's what we got.
The whole point of America, I thought, was choice and freedom for its own sake.
Well, and I would argue it's not for its own sake. And if that happens to us, something's gone wrong. The founding fathers, they weren't in the full sense of the term. It wouldn't have the full Catholic imagination as I would like it, but they certainly had a sense of the objective good, and that the purpose of life is to find that good and be ordered toward it. An ordered freedom is what they're interested in, not freedom for its own sake.
What does ordered mean? Ordered freedom?
Ordered toward the good. And that's why it has to be educated. Your freedom has to be disciplined and directed. It's like a kid with all kinds of athletic ability, but if a coach never directs that ability toward the achievement of some good, that he can become a great tennis player or a great golfer, then the freedom, it begins to kind of stew on itself. No, direct freedom, direct talent, direct energy. And our culture, see, it's like, I think of this, if you have banks to a river, the river has energy, it's going somewhere. You knock down the banks, you say, I don't want to be limited. Don't set limits to my freedom.
It just floods the fields.
It just opens up in this big lazy lake, and everyone's just sort of lying on their air mattresses, right? Now, I'll tolerate you, you tolerate me, I won't bother you. But then we're not getting anywhere. The point of the banks is not to restrict me, is to direct me, see, towards some good. Well, religion has played that role for much of our history, and in the measure that religion gets marginalized, and in the measure that we deify our autonomy, welcome to the unhappy world that many of the young people are living in, sadly.
Deify our autonomy. So you're speaking as if autonomy and choice are the same thing or closely related.
See, the goal for the Bible is not autonomy, it's theonomy. God, theos, becomes the nomos. God becomes the law of my life. And see, here's the trick. When God becomes the norm of my life, I become more myself. I find who I really am. If I jettison God and I say, no, autonomy, it's I'm the leader of my own life, I get lost, right? What does Jesus say? The one who loses himself, will find it. The one who's trying to hang on to himself is going to lose it. Lose your freedom in God's greater freedom, and you become now authentically free. That's every spiritual master in the West teaches that lesson. But we lose it in the measure that we say, no, it's all about my autonomy. That's all that matters.
Don't tell me what to do. Throw off the rules.
Right. Knock down the banks and the river becomes a lazy lake, and we tolerate each other blandly, but we don't have a common purpose. That's another problem. See, if you reject objective value, so you got your values, I got my values, your freedom, my freedom. Well, what connects us? In fact, we're antagonistic to each other, right?
Yeah.
We tend to grow into hostility, and my freedom's against your freedom. But if together we find a common good, a common goal, now we can join forces, right? So it's